Hi, it's Paul from howtoplaybassdotcom. In this video we're going to learn how to play The Midnight Hour by Wilson Pickett. This is the sixth and last in our current mini-series of Duck Dunn bass lines. Great tune, very easy bass line to play, common tune played by kind of dance bands, soul bands, well worth picking up. There's only a few sections to learn. There's the intro, there's a basic riff pattern, which is the foundation of the song. Then you've got verse 1 and verse 2, and verse 2's got a tiny variation before you hit the horn section, and then the horn section, and those are all the sections that you need to learn. Get them down, put them together, play along with the song, and you'll be able to get through this. It's pretty straightforward. Before we go and look at the intro, the first part of the song, quick reminder, if you're not a subscriber to my free monthly e-zine, click on the link under the video. If you're watching on YouTube, head over to my website and subscribe. You get a sequence of 3 to 4 PDF and video lesson bass lines, tutorials, very much like this, but they're exclusive to the membership. Plus there's a free monthly video and PDF tutorial, again exclusive only to the membership, so it's well worth subscribing for that. Okay, let's head over to the video and go and look at the intro. So the intro to The Midnight Hour, very simple pattern. 4 bars where you're playing effectively whole notes. A couple of those are anticipated, as you'll see in a second, and then there's 2 bars which states the basic riff which forms the bulk of the tune. So let's have a look, play through it with the metronome, and then we'll talk through it. 3, 4. Okay, so that's the intro. 4 notes of the intro are D, B, A, G. D's 5th fret of the A string, B 7th fret of the E string, A 5th fret of the E string, G natural 3rd fret of the E string. And the 2 notes that are slightly anticipated are the B and the G. So the first note D is on the beat. That's slightly anticipated. A's on the beat, and the G natural is anticipated as well. If you listen to the original, you'll hear those timings, and then it comes in with the main 2-bar riff before the verse starts, with just a simple pattern that repeats, and the bulk of the verse is based on this pattern. So the notes are 2 open E's, G sharp at the 4th fret of the E string, B, the 7th fret of the E string, simple major arpeggio if you know your arpeggios, E, G sharp, B, and then you've got the same pattern but in A, which is 2 A's at the 5th fret of the E string, C sharp, 4th fret of the A string, E, the high E or the octave E, 7th fret of the A string. Very simple pattern based on the major arpeggio, or major triad, and that forms the bulk of the verse, but you play that twice before you actually hit the verse. Verses 1 and 2 are very similar. I'm going to play through the entire sequence of verse 1, and then we'll come back and talk about what's different in verse 2. 2, 3, 4. And then you'd be into verse 2. So, quite a long section, but very straightforward. The first 8 bars are all repeats of that pattern we looked at in the intro section. So you play that bar 8 times, and then it moves up to B, and back down to A, and repeats those 2 bars. And again, we're playing the same pattern that you've already played here on A, but when you go to B, you just move it up to with your second finger on the B, which is the 7th fret of the E string, and then you repeat it on B as well. So play that twice, which is 2 Bs, 7th fret of the E string, D sharp, 6th fret of the A string, F sharp, 9th fret of the A string. Play that twice, then play down to A, which is 2 A's, 5th fret of the E string, C sharp, 4th fret of the A string, E, 7th fret of the A string, and play that twice. Back to B, back to A, and then you're back to the original pattern 3 times. And then you've got kind of the tag before the verse, which is this. So you've got D, 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 B, and you notice I did a little slide into that D. If you want to, you can do that, which is from the C sharp. D's the 5th fret of the A string, and play that, and then down to B at the 7th fret of the E string. If you go back to the little play along section, you'll hear the rhythm very clearly. You'll also hear it on the record. Now that 2-bar tag, which leads back to the verse, is ever so subtly different in the second verse. So we're going to look at that subtle difference. Okay, in verse 2, I'm going to pick up from where it goes up to B, that section, play it with the metronome so we can play through to the tag so you can hear it all in context. 3, 4. Here comes the tag. Be into the horn riff, which we'll look at in a section. So same notes, it's just D and B, but this time there's no anticipation, you're just playing straight quarter notes through that section. 4 Ds, 5th fret of the A string, 4 Bs, 7th fret of the E string. So that's fairly straightforward, and that just leaves the horn riff, which is an 8-bar pattern, and again is built off very similar patterns to what you've already learned from the preceding sections. So we'll go and have a look at the horn riff. Okay, this is the last pattern we need to look at to play through the song. It's the horn riff. Play it through the metronome, and then we'll talk through it. 2, 3, 4. Then you'll be back into the verse, and it just vamps on the verse, just the basic pattern till it fades out. Okay, so let's look at those notes. The first 2 bars are slight variations of the basic pattern that we've looked at. Instead of playing 2 open E's to start the pattern, you're just playing 1 quarter note. Everything else is identical. Then the third bar of the horn riff, and the 4th bar are slightly different. You've got the 3rd bar is this, so it's E, 2 E's, D, B, D, D, C. So 2 E's are 7th fret of the A string, D's 5th fret, B's 7th fret of the E string, back to D at the 5th fret, then you've got D to C, 5th and 3rd frets of the A string, and then you've got the 4th bar is the basic pattern that we've played already in B, but we're just playing it slightly different location. The frets are B, 2nd fret of the A string, D sharp, 1st fret of the D string, F sharp, 4th fret of the D string, and that plays that twice. So I'll play those 4 bars because they're the main point of difference. And then the final 4 bars, you've got 3 times through the riff, basic riff that we've already played, and then the final bar of that section, just B, 7th fret of the E string, and that will take you back to the verse. And you put all those sections together, and you'll be able to play through and play along to the original recording.